Hello ARMY, welcome back to my channel VK BTS. OMG, what just happened? BTS Instagram Live today wasn't normal. ARMY noticed it immediately. Jungkook paused mid-sentence, Taeyoung looked away, and the silence said everything. Was this just a Spotify x BTS NYC event? Or did something happen behind the scenes that no one expected? Fans are already questioning. What did BTS mean during the Q&A? Could this change everything we thought we knew? Tonight, we dive into the live session, the concert, and every shocking moment that had ARMY gasping. Stay tuned. March 24, 2026 will forever be remembered in BTS history. Not for a new album release, not for a world tour announcement, but for a moment of pure, shocking, and deeply emotional revelation. The Spotify x BTS event in New York City was expected to be another celebration of music, fan engagement, and BTS charisma. But what unfolded during their Instagram live session left fans across the globe stunned, confused, and searching for answers that might never fully come. From the very first second, the atmosphere felt different. Fans tuned in expecting the usual vibrant BTS energy. Taeyoung's mischievous smile, Jungkook's playful answers, Jimin teasing the audience, RM commanding the stage with calm authority. Yet within the first 30 seconds, the air shifted. Jungkook paused mid-sentence, his eyes flickering toward something off-camera. Taeyoung's gaze wavered, then shifted deliberately away, leaving the live screen hanging in an eerie silence. ARMY noticed it immediately. Comments flooded in. What's wrong? Why did they freeze? Something is off. The Q&A segment, typically a fan favorite, turned into a tense moment of cryptic revelations. Jungkook answered a fan question about upcoming music projects, but his words were careful, measured, and unexpectedly vague. Taeyoung, usually lighthearted during these sessions, didn't respond with his usual charm. Instead, he leaned back, glanced downward, and offered a smile that felt rehearsed. Could ARMY be reading too much into it? Or was there a deeper message embedded in their expressions, tone, and pauses? The Spotify live concert that followed only added layers to the mystery. Certain close-ups captured moments that seemed innocent at first glance, but upon repeated viewing appeared to be more than coincidence. Jungkook's eyes darted to the side during the chorus, Taeyoung's hand lingered near his chest in a subtle gesture, and the harmony of their vocals, while flawless, carried a weight that fans described as emotional, almost desperate. Hashtags exploded immediately. Hashtag BTS Instagram Live, hashtag Spotify BTS NYC. Fans dissected every second of the video, replaying the live session frame by frame. Were the pauses intentional? Was there a hidden message for ARMY? Could this be a hint at a personal revelation, a new music theme, or even an internal struggle within BTS itself? Questions piled up faster than answers. Why did Jungkook hesitate during his Q&A responses? What made Taeyoung look away at that exact moment? Did the Spotify event organizers notice? Was there pressure behind the scenes that affected BTS during the live? Social media theorists speculated endlessly. Some fans suggested that HYB might have orchestrated parts of the live to convey subtle messages without directly stating them. Others feared that this was a sign of upcoming changes in the group's dynamics. Even more shocking were the subtle moments during the concert. While performing their hit tracks, BTS engaged in brief, almost imperceptible gestures that fans immediately interpreted as clues. A hand brush, a glance, a momentary pause in choreography. All of it became material for speculation. ARMY communities online created detailed timelines, comparing fan cams to official concert footage, piecing together sequences that seemed to form a hidden narrative. One particular moment circulated endlessly. A 0.7-second frame during the opening of Heartbeat. Jungkook, mid-verse, froze for a fraction longer than usual, his eyes locking briefly on Taeyoung before looking away. The comment section erupted. Did he just say something without words? This is bigger than Spotify. Even journalists covering the event admitted they were scrambling to interpret what had been said, what had been shown, and what had been intentionally left ambiguous. Then came one of the most emotional Q&A moments. A fan asked Taeyoung, "What's your most honest feeling about being on tour?" His smile faltered briefly before he gave a carefully constructed answer, one that satisfied on the surface, but seemed to hide something deeper. Jungkook, standing beside him, placed a reassuring hand on Taeyoung's back, but the gesture was brief, almost too brief to be casual. Fans described it as a moment of unspeakable tension. Could BTS have been subtly signaling internal struggles, personal decisions, or feelings about the group's future? The emotional weight wasn't limited to fans online. Journalists noticed subtle shifts in BTS's energy. Camera operators captured extended glances between members that seemed to carry unspoken messages. Even in pre-recorded segments, there were moments where BTS looked distracted or emotionally heavy. This raised a critical question. Was this a carefully orchestrated performance? Or were fans witnessing something raw and genuine? ARMY reactions across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok were immediate and intense. Emotional threads flooded timelines. Are they okay? What did BTS mean? Is HYB pressuring them? Clips went viral, amassing millions of views within hours. Every frame was analyzed, every syllable dissected. Beneath the memes and humor, a deeper anxiety emerged. Fans sensed that something significant was unfolding, something no official source was explaining. As the concert progressed, the tension remained. Harmonies were flawless, yet carried emotional weight. Smiles were fleeting. Movements, though synchronized, showed subtle variations. Observers questioned. Were these artistic choices, technical inconsistencies, or signs of emotional strain? Perhaps the most striking element was the silence. Was BTS leaving ARMY a puzzle to decode? Or signaling a future revelation yet to come? Theories multiplied rapidly. Some believed this hinted at a deeply personal new music concept. Others suspected glimpses of internal dynamics being revealed subtly through gestures and pauses. Fans began cross-referencing everything: Instagram Live, concert footage, interviews, searching for patterns. Could Jungkook's pause align with future lyrics? Did Taehyung's avoidance of eye contact signal something deeper? As the night ended, BTS transitioned smoothly from live session to concert, but the emotional tension lingered. Fans reported goosebumps during performances that would normally feel purely joyful. It felt like BTS were communicating something beyond music, perhaps emotions, fears, or questions about the future. By the end of the event, one thing was clear. ARMY was left with more questions than answers. The March 24, 2026 Spotify X BTS NYC event had transformed a typical live session into something far more profound. An emotionally charged, mysterious experience that blurred the lines between performance and reality. Was this the calm before a major revelation? Or simply an intimate glimpse into BTS's world, where even the smallest glance carries meaning? The answers remain out of reach, but the conversation, the speculation, and the emotional impact continue to ripple across the globe. However, when observed more closely, a pattern began to emerge from their interactions that night. It wasn't just the pauses or the glances, but the way they responded to each other with unusual caution. Every word felt carefully chosen, as if there were an invisible boundary they didn't want to cross. Some longtime fans even compared this moment to earlier eras when BTS appeared more spontaneous and carefree. This contrast sparked a new discussion. Was this change a sign of their growth as artists, or a reflection of the increasing pressure behind the scenes? On the other hand, some ARMY chose to see it from a more positive perspective. They believed this moment wasn't a sign of trouble, but part of BTS's evolution. That their calmer, deeper, and more emotional expressions were a sign of maturity, not something negative. Still, certain small details were hard to ignore. Moments like Jungkook taking a deeper breath before answering certain questions, or Taehyung avoiding eye contact right after a sensitive topic came up. To many fans, these details felt too specific to be mere coincidence. Interestingly, some media analysts began discussing the possibility that BTS might be building a long-term narrative, a form of storytelling not only delivered through songs and music videos, but also through live interactions like Instagram sessions and concerts. If true, then every small gesture could be an intentional code placed for fans to notice. This idea led many fans to recall BTS's past concepts, where theories, symbols, and hidden meanings were an essential part of the experience. Could it be that they are returning to that approach, but in a more subtle and emotionally driven way? Amid all these theories, one thing remained undeniable. The connection between BTS and ARMY still felt strong. Even in silence, even in confusion, fans continued to feel connected to what the members were expressing. Some fans even said that precisely because the moment felt imperfect, not entirely cheerful, and full of questions, it felt more human, more real, as if BTS were showing a side of themselves that is rarely seen. Of course, not everyone felt comfortable with this uncertainty. Some fans felt anxious, worried that this could be a sign of major changes ahead, changes that might affect their music, activities, or even the future of the group itself. In the end, it all comes down to interpretation. Without any official statement or clarification, everyone will view this moment through their own perspective. And perhaps that is exactly what made that night so powerful. A moment that didn't provide answers, but instead invited everyone to think, to feel, and to keep waiting for what comes next.